Shalom, everybody. I hope that everybody is doing well. Baruch Hashem. In today's Torah portion, Parashah Yitro, we read about the most significant event in the history of the world, the Matan Torah. Matan Torah, the receiving of the revelation of the Torah of Hashem by Bnei Yisrael at Mount Sinai. It is the most significant event in the history of the world when Hashem descended from heaven into the presence of Bnei Yisrael and revealed to them the essence of his being and identity, and the gospel and the constitution of the kingdom of heaven, his Torah. And when Hashem revealed to them the revelation of the Torah, he revealed to Bnei Yisrael his will and his way. And within the revelation of the Torah is contained the master plan, the blueprint for the restoration and redemption of creation. That is why the Matan Torah is the most significant event in the history of the world. Baruch Hashem. But in order for Hashem to reveal his Torah to Bnei Yisrael, they first had to be redeemed from Mitzrayim, Egypt, where they were in a place of bondage, a place of restriction, a mentality of slavery. And Hashem redeemed them from that condition of bondage, through the blood of a unblemished lamb, which was put on the doorposts. So when Bnei Yisrael exited Mitzrayim through the doorpost, which were the gateway to redemption, when they exited through the doorpost with the blood of the unblemished lamb on the doorpost, they left Mitzrayim as a redeemed people, as a people free from slavery and bondage, ready to receive the revelation of the Torah. And that is the sequence of redemption according to Hashem's master plan for redemption. First, redemption from Mitzrayim by the blood of an unblemished lamb, and then receiving of the Torah as a free people so that they could walk in the ways of Hashem. And that is very important. We are not redeemed from the Torah as Roman religions would like to promulgate. We are redeemed for the Torah of Hashem, so that we can walk as a free people in the way of Hashem, his Torah. And then the part that I would like to focus on today is within any society, we find people that is blind, that cannot see. We find people that is deaf, that cannot hear. And we find people that is numb. They cannot speak. And then we find people that are lame. They cannot walk. And one of the great miracles of Matan Torah, the receiving of the Torah, was that all the people were completely healed from blindness, from deafness, from muteness, from lameness, so that they could receive the full revelation of the Torah of Hashem. So all the people were completely healed so that they could receive the revelation of the Torah. So Hashem redeems us from Mitzrayim for the Torah, and Hashem completely heals us for the Torah so that we can receive the full revelation of the Torah. And that is the part that I would like to focus on today, is being healed for the Torah. And we find our first point of reference from the book of Shemot, the book of Exodus 20 verse 18. Now all the people witnessed. It was a collective revelation of the manifestation of Hashem and the revelation of His Torah. All the people witnessed that. The thunderings, the lightning flashes, the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off. So we see that all the people could see the manifestation of the presence of Hashem that came down from heaven. All the eyes of the people were open so that they could see the manifestation of Hashem. And we saw earlier when Bnei Yisrael crossed through the Sea of Reeds, Moshe Rabbeinu said to them, stand still and see the redemption of Hashem. See the Et Yeshuat Hashem. Et Yeshuat Hashem, the redemption of Hashem. See the redemption of Hashem. That is why all the blind people, their eyes were open so that they could see the redemption of Hashem. They were physically healed to see the redemption of Hashem. But very important, and that is what I would like to focus on today, it was not only a physical healing. Their eyes were not only physically opened. Their eyes were also spiritually open, so that they could see and witness the revelation of the Torah of Hashem. And that is, we find testimony of that in Psalm 119 verse 18. Psalm 119 verse 18, where David HaMelech testifies to the spiritual opening of the eyes to see the revelation of the Torah. When David HaMelech says in Psalm 119 verse 18, open my eyes, that I may see the wondrous things from your Torah. David HaMelech was not physical blind, but he's requesting, he is asking from Hashem to spiritually open his eyes, that he may see the wondrous things from the Torah of Hashem. And that is one of the most privileged things that we can receive from Hashem, is that we have the spiritual sight and insight so that we can see the wondrous things of the Torah. And that is why we see the people were firstly those who were physically blind. Their eyes were open so that they could see the manifestation of Hashem. so that they could see the revelation of the Torah of Hashem, so that they could see the Et Yeshuat Hashem, the salvation of Hashem. But there is a much deeper prophetic meaning to the opening of the eyes. And that is to see the wondrous things from the Torah of Hashem. Because when we are spiritually blind, it is impossible for us to see the wonders of the Torah. And that is my prayer. That is my deepest desire for you, that Hashem may open your spiritual eyes so that you can see the wonders of His Torah. Baruch Hashem. And then we go to the book of Shemot, Shemot 19 verse 17. Shemot 19 verse 17. And Moshe brought the people out of the camp to meet with Hashem. And they stood at the foot of the mountain. They stood at the foot of the mountain. They stood at the foot of the mountain. So all the people that were lame were completely healed. The whole kahal, Yisrael, the whole assembly stood at the foot of the mountain in the presence of Hashem. So all the lame people were healed so that they could stand in the presence of Hashem to receive the revelation of the Torah. There was not one lame amongst Bnei Yisrael when Hashem revealed the revelation of His Torah to them at Mount Sinai, because all the people could stand in the presence of Hashem. And that is another reason why Hashem heals the lame, so that they can stand in His presence and receive the manifestation of His presence, witness it, and receive the revelation of His Torah. But there is a deeper spiritual meaning to that also. And we go to the book of Proverbs. Proverbs 4 verse 18. Shlomo HaMelech writes in Proverbs 4 verse 18, but the path of the just, the tzaddik. What is a tzaddik? It is a righteous person that walks in the way and the will of Hashem, His Torah. That is a just person, a tzaddik. But the path of the just is like the shining sun that shines ever brighter unto the perfect day. When we walk in the pathway of Hashem, His Torah, our path is like the shining sun that shines brighter unto the perfect day. As we grow in the revelation of the Torah, as we grow in righteousness, our pathway becomes like a shining sun that shines ever brighter as we walk into the deeper revelation of the Torah of Hashem. We are called to be a light unto the nations, a shining sun unto the nations. And we can only become that when we walk in the pathway of Hashem, the pathway of the just, the Torah of Hashem. And as we walk in it, we shine to the nations the light of the kingdom of Hashem, the Torah. Because the Torah is the eternal light of the kingdom of heaven. And when we live the Torah, when we walk in the pathway of the Torah, that is the light that we are shining to the world, the light of the Torah, an ever brighter shining light, which starts with a very small spark inside of us. But when Hashem anoints us, that spark becomes a flame. When Hashem anoints us with the revelation of His presence and His Torah, that small spark is ignited and becomes a flame that shines a light unto the nations, so that the nations can see the way and the will of Hashem in and through us. And that is why Hashem heals our spiritual lameness. Because spiritual lameness is even worse than physical lameness. Spiritual lameness is when we are not willing, or if we are hindered by the evil one. If we are hindered by deception, not to walk in the pathway of Hashem. Or if we have lost our way by means of deception and false teachings and false religions, to walk in the way of man and not the way of Hashem, His Torah. And Hashem heals us from that lameness so that we can walk in strength in His pathway, His Torah, so that our lives, our pathway can shine like a shining sun, like a light to the nations, so that they can see the eternal light of His Torah shining in and through us to the world. Baruch Hashem. And then we go to Exodus 24 verse 7, the book of Shemot 24 verse 7. Then Moshe took the book of the covenant and read in the hearing of the people. So you can now see that all the people were healed from deafness. All the people could hear the revelation of the Torah of Hashem, because Hashem physically healed all the people from deafness so that they could hear the revelation of His Torah. And that is again why Hashem heals us from blindness, from lameness, from deafness. The purpose of that healing is that we are healed for His Torah, that we can see the revelation of His Torah, that we can walk in the revelation of the Torah, and that we can hear the revelation of His Torah. Then Moshe took the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people. And they said, all of them said, all of them were healed from muteness. If there were a mute person amongst Bnei Israel, that person was healed from his muteness. Why? Because that person can acknowledge and respond to the revelation of the Torah. And this was the response of Bnei Israel. And all the people of Bnei Israel responded. All that Hashem has said, we will do and be obedient. We will do. So when they answered, we will do, they entered into a marriage covenant with Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu read to them the conditions of the marriage covenant. And within the marriage covenant is contained the vows of the marriage covenant, the mitzvot. And when Bnei Yisrael heard them, they responded. Because the people that were numb were healed from numbness, so that they could acknowledge, that they could answer, that they could respond to the vows of the marriage covenant by saying, we will do. And that is why people were healed from numbness, so that they could answer in this marriage ceremony that took place at Mount Sinai. They could answer with an audible voice, even if they were numb before, we will do. And by doing that, they entered into a marriage covenant with Hashem. But people were not only healed from physical numbness. Right in the beginning of the book, we saw how Moshe Rabbeinu responded to Hashem by saying, I'm of uncircumcised lips. Even if he could speak audibly, his lips were not yet circumcised. He could not yet speak the revelation of the Torah of Hashem. And that is why Hashem circumcised the lips of Moshe Rabbeinu, so that he could take the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people. So his lips were not uncircumcised anymore. The lips of Moshe Rabbeinu were circumcised so that he could speak the revelation of the Torah to Hashem. And any messenger that is sent by Hashem, you will always hear the revelation of the Torah upon his or her lips. And that is why Hashem also touched the lips of Prophet Isaiah, so that his lips could be uncircumcised, so that he could speak the prophetic revelation of the Torah of Hashem. So if you want to know if a person is sent by Hashem, look at the lips. What is departed from the lips? Is it the revelation of the Torah, or does that lips speak against the revelation of the Torah? When the lips of a person speak against the revelation of the Torah, then you must know that person is not sent by Hashem. But the person that is sent by Hashem is not numb. His lips are circumcised, that he can speak the revelation of the Torah. As it happened here, Moshe Rabbeinu, that was once uncircumcised of lips, is now circumcised of lips, so that he can take the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people. And that is the spiritual healing the spiritual circumcision of the lips, is to speak the revelation of the Torah of Hashem. And that is why we see in the prophet Isaiah 35 verse 5, the prophet Isaiah prophesies about the spiritual healing within the future glory of Zion. Zion is the spiritual end state of the Torah of Hashem. That is the condition in which Hashem wants to manifest His presence to us. Zion, that is the end state. And in Isaiah 35, the prophet Isaiah describes the end state of Zion, and he says, "The eyes of the blind shall be opened." This is the spiritual opening of the eyes, so that they can see the manifestation of Hashem in Zion, and so that they can see the wonders of the Torah of Hashem. And the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped, so that they can hear the revelation of the Torah of Hashem in Zion, because in Isaiah 2 verse 2, the prophet Isaiah prophesies that from Zion the Torah shall go forth. So this is the healing that will take place in Zion, so that the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped, so that they can hear the revelation of the Torah of Hashem. Then the lame shall leap like deer. They shall leap with joy in the presence of Hashem. They shall leap with joy with the Torah of Hashem, because the Torah is the joy of the kingdom of heaven. And they shall leap like deer in the revelation, the pathway of Hashem, His Torah. And the tongue of the dumb shall sing the praises of Hashem. The tongue of the dumb shall be circumcised, the lips shall be circumcised, so that they can speak the revelation of the Torah of Hashem. For waters shall burst forth in the wilderness, and streams in the desert. This is exactly what happened at Mount Sinai, a desert place. Waters of living water burst forth from the wilderness of Sinai. When Hashem revealed to Bnei Yisrael His Torah, and the physical eyes of the blind were opened so that they could see the manifestation of Hashem. But not only that, the spiritual eyes of all the people were opened so that they could see the revelation of the wonders of the Torah of Hashem. The ears of the deaf were opened so that they could hear the revelation of the Torah when Moshe Rabbeinu read from the book of the covenant. Not only were they healed from physical deafness, but also from spiritual deafness, so that they could hear the wonders of the Torah of Hashem, so that they could hear the revelation of the Torah in spirit and truth. Because when a person is spiritual deaf, you can Share with him the revelation of the Torah. You can share with him or her the wonders of the Torah. They do not want to hear it. They are offended by it. They cannot hear it. It's only when Hashem open our ears that we can hear the revelation of his Torah. And then the mute. Their lips were circumcised so that they could speak the revelation of the Torah. And not only that they could accept the authority of the Torah upon their lives when they said, we will do. We will do according to your will and your way, Hashem, your Torah. And the lame were healed so that they could stand in the presence of Hashem and walk in the revelation of his Torah. And when they did that, their pathway shined like a light to the nations of the world to see the way in which Bnei Yisrael walks is the way of Hashem. It is a light to the nations to follow. Baruch Hashem. That is why we see in the book of Luke 7 verse 22. Rabbi Yeshua ben Yosef sends a message to Yochanan and says, go and tell Yochanan the things you have seen and heard, the things that you have witnessed, the things that you have seen and heard. And these are the things. The blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And this is exactly what happened through the Torah observant ministry of Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua ben Yosef from Galilee taught his Talmudim to walk in the way of Hashem, his Torah, in spirit and truth. And the result of that ministry was that the blind could see. They were physically healed from blindness, but they were also spiritually healed from blindness so that they could see the wonders of the Torah of Hashem in spirit and truth. And the lame walked. They were healed from physical lameness, but also from spiritual lameness. That through the ministry of Rabbi Yeshua, they could walk in the pathway of Hashem, his Torah, and shine a light to the people, the light of the Torah in and through them. And the deaf could hear. They could hear the revelation of the Torah of Hashem in spirit and truth. And that was the essence of the ministry of Rabbi Yeshua ben Yosef, is to spiritually open the eyes of the blind so that they can see the revelation of the Torah, to open the ears of the spiritual deaf so that they could hear the revelation of the Torah in spirit and truth, and then to heal the spiritual muteness so that the people could speak the wonders of the gospel of the kingdom of heaven. And this is once again a important indication for us that the ministry of Rabbi Yeshua ben Yosef from Galilee was in perfect alignment with the ministry of Moshe Rabbeinu. Because in Deuteronomy 18 verse 18, the book of Devarim, Hashem says, I will send a prophet like you, Moses. In other words, that prophet will have the revelation of the Torah in spirit and truth. He will gather the people and teach them the revelation of the Torah in spirit and truth, and then he will lead them to walk in the revelation of the Torah in spirit and truth. And that is what Rabbi Yeshua did. He opened the eyes of the spiritual blind to see the wonders of the Torah. He opened the ears of the spiritual deaf so that they could hear the revelation of the Torah in spirit and truth. He circumcised the lips of the witnesses so that they could witness the wonders of the gospel of the kingdom of heaven, the Torah of Hashem. And he healed the spiritual lame so that they could walk in the pathway of Hashem, his Torah, and shine the light of the Torah wherever they went. Baruch Hashem. And it is my prayer for you today that Hashem shall open your spiritual eyes to see the wonders of his Torah, to open your ears spiritually so that you can hear the wonders of his Torah, that you can hear his voice when he speaks, the revelation of his identity, the essence of himself, and his master plan through his Torah. I pray that Hashem will heal your spiritual lameness so that you can walk in the pathway of the kingdom of heaven, his Torah, so that your pathway shines like a bright sun, shining brighter and brighter as you enter into deeper and deeper revelation of the Torah. And I pray that Hashem will heal your numbness, that Hashem will uncircumcise your lips so that you can speak the revelation of his Torah. Baruch Hashem. We are redeemed from Mitzrayim for the Torah. We are healed from blindness, numbness, deafness, and lameness for the Torah, so that we can see, hear, speak, and walk in the revelation of the kingdom of heaven, the Torah of Hashem, in spirit and truth. Baruch Hashem. Amen.